Excuse me. Mm.
We should be good. It says it's upcoming on the thing, but like when I clicked on it, it was fine. Let me apply. Good. All right. So yeah, I just posted Mario gameplay, I guess, instead of the movie, but it says it's upcoming though. It says it's upcoming though. It says it's upcoming. It says okay. I don't know where you were at in your train of thought, but but
Yeah,
yeah, we're
me
back. We
neither.
just we just we just got we just got Mario gameplay this time since you know trailer footage for a movie is just too much to ask. So
Yeah, oh, I was talking about how DC uh should probably utilize their shows as vehicles for storytelling to move stories in their films, but I guess that limits their filmmakers. So I guess they're not going to do that. Like how Marvel does with Agents of Shield. Agents of Shield is really a show that is important to driving the story in, like for example, the standalone Black Widow movie. So,
hmm. Speaking of Robert Pattinson's Batman, where do you think that's gonna head?
yeah. I was pleasantly surprised, honestly. I mean, there's some things that still bother me about it.
Oh yeah,
Um, but
yeah. It is. It is.
yeah.
It is a little bit on the unusual side when you're talking about Batman. I mean, Robert Pattinson's Batman is a little bit on the unusual side, but I think that's part
Well,
of.
like
Yeah, go ahead.
I just again, like I like Robert Pattinson. I think he's a good actor now. I liked him in The Lighthouse. I think that he could hold his own against like really good actors, but I just like I don't like him as Bruce Wayne. Again, I don't think he's handsome enough to be Bruce Wayne, and I couldn't suspend my disbelief, I guess, to have
Okay.
him be Batman.
Okay.
Um, but I definitely was satisfied with Zoe Kravitz as Zelina Kyle. Um, I thought that was going to be controversial, because she's mixed, and um, in the comic book, Selena is mixed, but she's Cuban and white. She's not the same nationality or whatever. But
Mm-hmm. Oh,
that
okay.
worked out.
I didn't know that. Catwoman, Selena Kyle
Oh,
is Cuban.
yeah, she's part her mother's Cuban and her father is supposed to be white.
I did
Yeah.
not know that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I did not know that at all. Wow, that's a pleasant surprise.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, I thought fanboys were gonna go crazy over it or whatever. Like, oh no, like Selena Kyle can't be a person of color or whatever. But yeah, she people were very receptive to her, and I was really glad.
Yeah, she definitely got the walk right.
Oh yeah.
And and I don't the funny thing is like she went on to like a different city or something like that and Bruce and Batman went back to Gotham. It's like it kind of makes me wonder a little bit. It's like I wouldn't be surprised if she actually wasn't in the second film.
Well, that's the thing. I would want her to come back for the second film because, well, in the comics, they have like a really serious bond.
Right.
And yeah, so I would like that to be explored. Absolutely.
But the way
Um,
it ended, it's like I wouldn't be surprised if she wasn't in the second film for whatever reason. I don't know. I mean,
I
I'm
know.
not saying that that's what I want to happen, but I'm saying that it's just speculation. I mean, they could always it doesn't always have to make sense, and it doesn't necessarily mean that just because she went one way and he went the other way that it doesn't mean that it's that she's not going to come back or she's not going to be in the film.
I know. Yeah.
Um,
I guess I'm just like terrible romantic. I just want them to be together, like as soon as possible.
yeah, but for
Um,
whatever reason, it doesn't always seem to last very long because of who she is, and well, more than anything, probably because of who he is. So
oh yeah, absolutely.
you know,
Yeah.
the metaphor or whatever you want to call it is that he's married to Gotham.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It doesn't stick until like later in their lives, for sure.
Yeah. So
But yeah, it is very interesting. Um, but yeah, I would look forward to a second film, despite all my complaints. But I don't know what a second film would look like. I would like to see more of, cause see, there's a storyline called One Bad Day in the comics, and the Riddler has flashbacks where he his storyline is goes back to his first murder,
mhm.
and his first murder is one of his teachers who put a riddle as an extra credit on his exams, and he could never get the riddle.
Uh-huh.
And his father used to punish him for not getting the extra credit, the extra credit questions. So he ends up getting really frustrated at this teacher, and he ends up killing him. So that's where his um, affinity for solving riddles came from, was from trying to solve them from this teacher that he killed. And then,
I always thought the villain Zaz would have been like would be like a perfect fit for Pattinson's universe, I think.
mm,
Um,
true. Yeah.
but I also like rumors have been coming out that it's going to be well, there was a poster. Um, I don't know if it was fan made or not. I mean, it could be real, but where Mr. Freeze could be the main villain in the next film.
See, Mr. Freeze is very complicated, and I love him. They really sort of bastardized him in the um, George Clooney, uh, you know, Batman.
Well, yeah.
It's funny as hell. I'll still watch it, but you know, in the comic books, Mr. Freeze is like so moody and complicated, and um, he was friends with Thomas Wayne. Uh, they were cohorts because they were both doctors, and um, there's like a whole story arc with the Wayne family um, and Doctor Freeze. So that would be fascinating. Yeah.
Okay. Now, okay. So let's say you were given the helm. If you were given the helm to make a sequel to that movie, to Pattinson's movie, what storyline would you have? What villain would you have? What direction would you take the movie in? Like if you had the reins and if you had, you know, the director's chair and all that kind of stuff and you had full, free creative freedom, what would you have done?
Clayface.
Why Clayface?
Oh my God. Just like so many things you could do with that character. He's like so tragic, you know? And there's just there's just so much depth to that character and so much like we've come so far in three 3D graphics and how we can manipulate special effects now. I think we could do like an awesome Clayface that could be realistic
Okay.
and yeah, just the drama of his backstory plus the special effects. I think that would be
Yeah,
just like
but they got to get
incredible.
right though. I mean, George Lucas said it best: a special effect without a story is a boring thing. So
Yeah, exactly. The story is incredible with Clayface. He's just the drama is just so tragic and just so sad, and you know, um, Batman ends up having a lot of empathy for him, and it just ends up not working.
yeah,
It's really, yeah.
with with Freeze, uh, it is a tragic story, and then you've got Clayface, who, believe it or not, I'm not as familiar with in terms of his story. But
Oh,
the fact that you say that his story is tragic would make sense because, well, let's see, Penguin's story is pretty tragic in terms of his family pretty much abandoning him at birth, if that's what happened. And then there's obviously Freeze's story is tragic because of what happened to his wife Nora. Um, Batman's story itself is tragic. Um, so when you look at all these different villains, a lot of them come from tragedy, which is where Batman came from. The Batman is the hero, right? Or the vigilante. And then you've got these villains that were a lot of Batman's villains were like good people. Like some of Batman's villains were like good people that went bad.
yeah,
Like Freeze's intentions are to try to cure his wife. And he's willing to do anything in order to do that. So I think that's interesting. But the thing is, like, here's my thing. It's like, do you think that Pattinson's Batman should stay away uh from the character of the Joker, so that way more villains can have screen time, or do you think it's just one of those things to where it's just too popular and you got to have, or whenever you have Batman, you have to have Joker?
I think that the Joker is like probably something to build up to because the Joker is like a response to all these other villains coming up. Um, you know, he's a really unique villain. Um,
But aren't they all though? Like in my
They
mind,
are, yeah, they
in
are.
in
But
my mind, in my mind, I always I jokingly think to myself that if Superman, if Clark had to deal with Joker the way Batman does, like in my mind, I'm thinking that freaking like Superman would have lost his freaking mind.
right,
He'd end up losing his mind because he's dealing with something that's like so. He's like his own category, and it's like you got to be a little bit crazy in order to. You got to be crazy yourself to a certain extent in order to be able to at least deal with something like that. So and Superman is just too clean of a character. So it's like, and then you've got
yes,
Joker, who's the ultimate, you know. So it's like,
yes,
I don't think Superman can handle him as far as mentality is concerned. I don't think Superman could handle it, like for like in big doses, in my opinion. But I mean, and this is not underestimating the character of Superman at all, because Superman is Superman, and he's not a character to be underestimated. But still, Superman handles his own shit, and that's fine. But I I don't know, man.
it just I think it's really interesting how like Batman puts on the suit and all these weirdos come out of the woodwork and Gotham sort of questions whether or not Batman showing up brought out all the weirdos or not. But,
Yeah,
you know, nobody con-
right. I think that's kind of up to the audience, but in the movie, in the Batman, they pretty much address that. They basically,
and then
which means that he did.
yeah, but
Like they're
nobody ever questions Superman for saving Metropolis every day. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Nobody ever like questions like, "Oh, Superman brought out all these weirdos to our town," like
No, super. If anything, Superman brought other aliens, to that, and then the
exactly.
only humans that want to get rid of Superman are the ones that just hate him. They're just haters. Like Lex Luthor is the ultimate hater.
Exactly.
He does not
Yeah.
like Superman. So, and I think that's really interesting in Smallville how they were friends. I think that was a really interesting take on that, to where they were like best friends.
Yeah. Yeah. Smallville was very interesting.
Smallville did it right, and I didn't even watch the entirety of that series. I hardly watched it at all, but I saw enough to know where everything was at and what happened. And I'm really glad that Tom Welling ended up like, I don't know if it was Tom Welling that wanted to do it this way or whatnot, but he's like, I'll do it as long as I don't put the suit on. And he didn't until the very last moment on the very last episode.
Hmm.
And then it ended
Yeah.
right there.
Hmm.
So, and I think that's what they were trying to do with Gotham, but it just didn't end up as well. It just, in my opinion, it just fared off a little bit too far off base.
Hmm.
Gotham, I think was, I don't know, there was just something missing. I don't like a few of the changes that they did with Gotham. Um, but at the same time, I suppose it could have been worse. But um, I don't know.
I couldn't get into Gotham. I couldn't get into it at all.
Hmm.
There was something, you're right, there was something missing. I don't know what it was.
My big question is, what is wrong with animated films? Like, there's nothing like the animated films seem to get a lot of different story arcs the best. So it's like,
They do.
why don't you make like an animated series? What's wrong with an what's wrong with an animated series?
I know. Yeah, they do well. And they get a lot of details right from the comic books.
Yeah, yeah, they certainly do. Um, and even to this day, even after all the popularity of comic book films and all that stuff, like I think, I mean, there's still so much that we haven't seen. There really is. And I don't know
Mhm.
what the hell James Gunn is going to do with this current, like in terms of what he's going to do with his universe. I know he's directing the Superman movie, so
Right.
um, I I don't know. I don't know what he's gonna do. I don't know what he's gonna do and what direction he's gonna put into it. Is it gonna be like Marvel's sense of humor and Marvel's style in the DC universe? You know, I mean, what is he gonna like? I hope they don't try to put some sunshine in Batman's background because, like, I mean, we saw that in Batman and Robin, and that didn't turn out well. I mean, granted, Batman and Robin was basically it was basically kind of like a modern version of what Adam West's
Yeah.
TV show did, if you think about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was like in Batman Forever, it's like Joel Schumacher took over and changed it up, um, and then after that, it was like Batman and Robin.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Gunn is gonna do DC. See, this is why I was thinking about this the other day, how creators have passed away and, their characters have outlived them. And it's just really sad how they haven't been able to realize their vision. You know what I mean?
Uh
To
huh.
be hands-on with their characters, and instead of like Stanley, he lived to realize most of his vision. Um, and that was really successful. That's why those first iterations of Marvel movies are so successful. And I feel like, yeah, like I really miss Bruce Timm and uh just like other creators in the DC universe who were more hands-on, who've passed away, who would be more, I guess, devoted to these characters, more um like knew the direction to take these characters, you know, their vision.
Right.
It's
Right.
pretty sad.
What uh what DC character that has not had a movie yet would you like to see?
Oh, um, Delirium. She is the literal personification of delirious thought. Um, she's one of the endless characters in the DC Vertigo universe. She's one of the Sandman siblings. Um, she hasn't been shown yet, but they're going to do um, a second season for the Sandman on Netflix.
Okay.
Um, this DC character, and she's they're gonna do her storyline in the next season. So I'm really excited about that. And she's just wild. She's just a wild character. Um, she drives on like the opposite side of the road, and her hair's all over the place, and her character was inspired by this musical artist. Her name is Tori Amos. Um, Neil Gaiman, the creator. and Tori Amos are friends in real life. And yeah, I think like a whole movie about Delirium and her siblings, the Endless. Yeah, I'd be really fascinated with that. Just because Delirium also like these characters, the Endless, they visit other DC characters in the DC universe, and is really fascinating. Like um, the Sandman, he does visit Superman. He visits other um, other characters on the space station for the Justice League. Um, it's he has very interesting interactions with them. Um, he has interactions with Wonder Woman as well because he's a god and she's half god, so he calls her cousin. Like this whole world is really interesting.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, they're basically gods walking among heroes, and I think that premise for a movie is really interesting.
Okay. Any upcoming movies that you're looking forward to seeing?
Um, I don't know. Let's see. I am looking forward to the new Flash movie just because I want to see Michael Keaton again. Um, and hinting at other Batmans in this movie. I don't know. Um, but yeah, I think that's pretty much the only movie that I am actually looking forward to because there really aren't any other movies I want to see.
Um,
Well, I'm waiting for the latest Scream to come out on streaming services.
okay.
And yeah, I guess that's basically it.
Okay. Um, so in a modern day Catwoman, who would you cast to play her?
Oh,
Because you're a cat lady, so what who would you cast?
there is this musical artist. I don't know how her acting chops are, but she's got the body type. Her name is Betty Who.
Okay.
Um, she's like a indie pop artist, and she's queer. Um, yeah. There's this there's this other woman. She goes by Hope Scope on YouTube, and she definitely has the body type. Again, not sure about her acting chops, but yeah, she's definitely thick and yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of an actress. I really can't think of anyone off the top of my head right now that's an actual actress. Hmm.
Hmm.
Probably come to me later. But yeah, I'm just thinking about body types right now.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the only two women I could think about right now.
Okay.
Now I'm really thinking about them.
Right.
Jeez.
I really am like wondering, out of every single company as far as games lately, like I'm like more than anything. I mean, I know where Mario's headed, and I pretty much know where Sony's doing and how they're headed and stuff like that. But it's like I'm really curious as to what Nintendo is going to do next.
More Pokemon.
But yeah, but well, we know that there's going to be more Pokemon because Pokemon sells. So there's going to be more. There's no doubt about it. But where does Nintendo go from here? Like where do they go next? What do they do next? I don't know. I mean, there's like, are they going to have a gimmick for their next Switch console, or are they going to call it a Super Switch? Are they going to call it the Switch Two? Is it just going to be something completely different? Is it going to have its own gimmick like the last couple of times? And what are going to be the hardware limitations? So it's like, and one thing that I'm impressed with Nintendo is that like they've proven that you don't have to have the most powerful hardware to still kick ass,
Hmm.
which just goes to show that hey, it's games look for the most part games look really good now as it is. I mean, if you look at this game here, Mario Odyssey, which is on the stream here, um like it's it's a clear game. It runs fine. I think it runs on 60, and it it's a beefy game. There's plenty to do in it. It's Mario. Its identity is correct. I mean, it's an awesome game. So it's like, do you really have to have the most, horsepower in your console in order to get the job done? No. I mean, it's nice to have, but for most people, like for the vast majority of people, it's not a necessity. I mean, Zelda Breath of the Wild was great. I mean, you watch like I'm sure you've seen Breath of the Wild footage,
Oh
even though you've
yeah,
never played
I've
it. Yeah,
watched a lot of that. Yeah.
it's a great game. There's lots to do, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like how like you don't have to have the most firepower in order to get shit done. That's simply what I'm trying to say. So it's like, what do we do? It's like, where's like what direction is Nintendo headed in? Like, I mean, obviously it's going to have to update its hardware, but how? And I don't know. I don't
Hmm.
know. Like, what are going to be the limitations and all that kind of stuff, and whatever. Like the developers that do stuff for them, they always make great stuff. I mean, Luigi's Mansion is great. Metroid is great.
Love, yeah.
All the games are great. All the Nintendo games are great and unique. And I don't know, for some reason, I don't know if it's because they were like one of the first or the first. I don't know, but honestly, like it feels Nintendo. Even though I don't have one right now, I mean, it's like Nintendo still feels like a video game console. Like for some reason, these new consoles that are coming out, not that I have a problem with it per se, but they just feel like PCs. And again,
Right.
there's nothing wrong with that, but I don't know. Nintendo, I think, is the only one that's kind of maintained that overall console feel. And I don't know how else to explain that. I mean, because if anybody were to say like if anybody were to hear that, they'd be like, "You're crazy! Like, what the hell are you talking about? They are consoles." It's like, yes, they are, but like they feel like PCs now, and it's like I don't know. It's like there's
They're like towers now. Yeah. They're
well,
like
it's not just that, but it's
or they
like I don't know. It just doesn't. I don't know if it's because they're required to be online and stuff like that. I mean, I don't think Nintendo games are required to be online
no,
in order for them to work.
no.
Like I mean, to this day, I mean, it's like the PS4 doesn't require it. It's actually what got them to win E3 over Xbox back in the day. But lo and behold, in this generation, it's like, yeah, it's like your all your stuff has to be online, and it's like, but why? You know,
Mhm.
it's like I don't know.
Uh,
I don't like that. I don't like the fact that everything has to be online in order for it to work. I mean, sure, it's always
right.
hooked up to the internet anyway, but it's like still.
Mm,
And I know I'm not the only one that thinks like this as well, so I'm not the only one that's got that on my mind. So I don't know. But when the Activision Blizzard deal goes through and it's all set and done, I really like I can't wait to just have all that access to Game Pass. I really can't wait to have all those games access to Game Pass because there's like so many games. So many
yeah.
games. Like a lot of games.
Mm.
So that's going to be lucrative. And I just, I don't know. I'm legitimately curious as to what is that unique thing that Nintendo is going to do next? Because they've been so different. It's like, and they've maintained their uniqueness by just doing what they do as opposed to trying to do what the other guys are doing. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
what are they going to do next? I'm legitimately curious. Like, I think the Switch came out in 2017, I think, either 2017 or 2016. So it's like, how much longer is it going to be until we get the next console for Nintendo? Because there's a part of me right now that would like a Switch. But at the same time, I already have so many things to play with and all that stuff. But at the same time, it's like, well, the next console, it's like, I'm kind of curious as to what it's going to be.
I know, yeah. True.
Because
I don't know.
they've got like the best
Yeah.
exclusives. I think I would say I would go on as to and to say that like Nintendo's exclusives are just as good as Sony's exclusives, in my opinion. They're just as good,
Mm.
in my opinion. Like right now, if I owned a Switch, I can guarantee you there's three games I can guarantee you I would have on that. I would have Mario Odyssey, which is this game. I would have Zelda Breath of the Wild, which is, you know, Zelda Breath of the Wild. And I would have Metroid Dread. And when
Mm-hmm.
Donkey Kong comes out, I would have Donkey Kong. And, those are the, like, seriously,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
like
Oh, definitely.
Mario games to me, they're always very valuable. They don't get old. Like if you were to play every single Mario game from the very first one that came out up until what we have today, like every single Mario game is incredible. Like and they've only gotten better. So, uh it's like that always makes me think. It always makes me wonder. And look at it this way. Like let's put it this way. Spider-Man 2 is coming out, cuz we had Spider-Man and then we had Spider-Man Miles Morales for PlayStation and now we're going to get Spider-Man 2 coming. You can have Venom in there, maybe Carnage as well. But
Nice.
if those two games were to come out at about the same time, which it wouldn't happen, but if they were, I would say that Breath of the Wild at the very least would make would have the same amount of sales as Spider-Man 2, which says a lot,
Oh, yeah.
if not more.
Oh, yeah.
So hold on,
No, definitely.
you know what? This is interesting. You know what I'm going to do? Oh yeah, I'm going to do this. So Breath of the Wild sales. Wow,
For
20 20
sure. I
20
think Zelda
29
would outsell.
29 million.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so Spider-Man PS4 sales. I mean, hold on. Total. Wow.
Hmm.
33 million.
Oh,
Those numbers are close. You got
that's
a
interesting.
29 million and a 33 million.
Yeah, that is interesting.
It is interesting. And Sony is known for their exclusives, and yet at the same time, so is Nintendo.
Yeah.
33 million, that's impressive. That is damn impressive. Wow. Um, okay. Now,
Hmm.
hold on. Mario on sales total. Wow, Mario Odyssey did 25.12.
Oh, wow.
Let's check Elden Ring. 20 million.
Well,
Pretty impressive.
yeah.
Hogwarts Legacy is new, but I'm gonna look it up. Well, it says how much money. Okay. The first 2 weeks it sold 12 million, which is again impressive.
Yeah, that is.
But it's still fairly new, so that number's gonna go up or has gone.
Yeah,
We don't know where
definitely.
it is,
Yeah.
but damn, it's a lot of. Sometimes those numbers surprise you, man. Sometimes it's like at first when I looked up Zelda or not Zelda, excuse me, when I saw Spider Man, it said 3.3 million. I'm like, that's a little low. I'm like, let me type in the word total, and then it's like boom, another three was added to that. So I think those games, are incredible for a multitude of reasons. So
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
no, those games are incredible, all of them. Let me see here. I'm gonna do God of War. There we go. 19 total sales. 23 million for the original
Nice.
God of War. I mean, I'm
Hmm.
sorry, for the 2018 God of War.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they sell very well. That's a lot. Wow.
I'm just amazed at this gameplay.
Yeah, no, Mario always looks good. You can't go wrong with anything Mario.
Hmm.
You can't go wrong with anything Mario. No. I mean, I always Mario is one of those franchises that is incredibly fun to watch.
Hmm. Yeah.
So,
What other stats are you looking up?
that was it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
I thought you were looking up some other ones.
No, I'm not going to look up anything else. That was it. Don't need to look up
Mhm.
anything else. But yeah, I'm always amazed at Mario. They just always get it right. Anything you do, like Pokemon, Kirby, Mario, Donkey Kong,
Yeah.
Metroid, all those. I mean, they never go wrong. That's the thing. Like
Yeah.
you don't hear anybody bitching or moaning about, oh, this Mario game sucked.
Yeah.
You know,
I know, right?
even Luigi now has his own little, you know, he's got Luigi's Mansion 1, 2, and 3. So
Mm-hmm. I know. That's really funny.
there's I heard another YouTuber saying that he heard a rumor that Spiral 4 is being made. So, I mean, they've already made a Crash 4, but I think they're doing something else with that. I think they might be making another one, but I don't know exactly what. But Crash 4, and then as well as a few other things. But yeah, I can't. Like, even if I don't have the system, and even if I'm not playing it, I still enjoy watching it, and I still enjoy seeing the news.
Oh yeah, me too. Mm,
And Nintendo's got me curious more than anybody else. I'm not, you know, I'm more curious about Nintendo than anybody else at this point in terms of what they're going
mm-hmm.
to do and how they're going to do it. And showcases are going to be coming up in the next few months, so that's going to be exciting to see.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, there's lots to look forward to.
Yes, there is. There is lots to look forward to, and I just want like I don't know. I could be wrong about this, but I think part of Nintendo's success is that they offer. I'm sorry, not they offer. They let their creators create.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I I think that's why their games are always successful.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I just stay out of the developer's way and let them build, you know. And they're obviously have a love for the game.
Yes, because it shows.
Yeah. Oh, so cute. But yeah, I could watch this gameplay all day.
Yeah, and with the sound, it's even better, obviously,
Hmm.
because the sound effects are always good and the gameplay is always good. It's like Mario just does it right. I would love
Yeah.
for there to be a Donkey Kong kind of like with the kind of love that these guys gave Mario, or a Spyro the
Oh
Drag
yeah.
or a Spyro the Dragon game that's like as long and as varied as this one is.
Oh yeah.
Like this game takes a while to beat and even longer to complete. So, you know, you're spending $60 on it, but it's worth it. Like if you go to the store now,
Absolutely.
like I don't know about GameStop, I don't know about that, but if you go to a store today, like I know in most places it's still full price. Like if you go to Amazon, it's still full price, maybe $10 off, maybe. But let's see.
Mm.
GameStop Mario Odyssey U. Yeah, like 39.99. I mean, it's still
Hmm.
like seriously, it's still high up there despite the fact that it came out a while ago.
Yeah.
And that's because it's really good.
Yeah.
like any game that came out. Let's see. Check, Elden Ring. Oh, Elden Ring is still new. It's still fairly new.
Mm. All right.
Yeah. So I'm. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
well, it is 11:30, and it is close to your bedtime actually too, isn't it?
A little, yeah, yeah.
Yep. I guess RMD got caught up again. So
That's okay.
all right. Well, I am going to call it here then, and then we'll just pick up on tomorrow or whenever.
Okay.
So
Sounds good.
thank you very much. Have a good night. And if anybody sees this, if YouTube didn't block it, I hope you guys have a good night too. See you.